Now, the newly appointed sole administrator for Rivers State, Vice Admiral Ijaws, has since assumption of office busied himself with dismantling the political and governance structures put in place by suspended Governor Alaye Fubara. Fubara is of the Ijaw ethnic nationality, arguably the largest amongst such groups in Rivers State. Having the fortitude to deal with the perceived political humiliation of one of their own has been the fundamental sentiment being expressed by so many people of the Ijaw ethnic stock since President Bola Tinubu imposed a state of emergency in Rivers more than 1 month ago. Their long suffering may also have been tested by rumors this past week that the sole administrator had issued a summons to Governor Fubara to appear before him to defend appointments made during his stay in office. Now, joining us to have this conversation on this matter is Dr. Alaye Tare-Theophilus, the president of Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide, joining us to discuss the dismantling of Fubara's governance structures and how it impacts Ijaws in the context of relevance and the expected role of young people in a politically volatile nation such as Nigeria. Good morning, Doctor. Welcome to the morning show.
Good morning. Thank you.
Now, there was, a rumor that the suspended governor, the governor of Rivers State, Alaye Fubara, had been summoned. However, this was debunked. This was later debunked, but it said that he was summoned by Ibok. Now, when we're talking about the removal of his political structures, especially considering that this is supposed to be a 6-month suspension at the most, do Ijaw people now feel like they're being disenfranchised in Rivers State? And do you see this as an insult to the Ijaw ethnic, group, particularly because before his suspension, there were threats that if he was suspended, Ijaw people would respond?
Thank you very much. First of all, what happened or what is happening in the Rivers State is not just to the Rivers people or the Ijaw ethnic nationality. We are talking about the survival of Nigerian democracy. We are practicing constitutional democracy. And whatever that we make pronouncement must be in line with the Constitution. And in as much as the 1999 Constitution is concerned as amended, there is nowhere or there is no provision that give the president the power to suspend a sitting governor. So our number one worry is not just about what is happening in Rivers State, but to the larger Nigerian society and our survival. As young people, we believe that within our age bracket, people fought for the independence of this country. And today, some group of persons are trying to sympathize with that independence and democracy that we are trying to enjoy. So it is our responsibility that every given point in time, when the wrong thing is being done, that we come out and speak. That is, by the way, today, the governor has been suspended. An unconstitutional sole administrator that is not from Rivers State has been appointed as the sole administrator to manage Rivers resources. So the question we begin to ask ourselves is Rivers State still part of the democratic structure of Nigeria, or the Rivers State in question is now under a military regime? We want to know if at all it is practicable. That is on the other side. Now, as an Ijaw, we believe that we have 11 local governments in Rivers State that belongs to us. That means in terms of population, in number and everything, the Ijaw can arguably have a major stake. But as people that love living with minorities and putting heads together, we have never had issues. Before 1999, I don't think there is any other ethnic nationality that have enjoyed Rivers State governance more than the Ijaw people. But when 1999 came back with the Fourth Republic, the Ijaw people thought it wise that, look, give and take. Let us give to the upland. And that was how Peter Odili emerged as governor. After that, Amaechi took over. When Nyesom Wike was about to be made governor, it was upland riverine dichotomy. And the riverine people said, no, it is our turn. But Goodluck in his magnanimity said that, look, let us give it to Wike and let him also serve his term. And Ijaw people, as people that has respect, and the respect they have for their son who happens to be the president then, without argument, told him that, look, oh yeah, go and become the president. And all the young people in the River State galvanized support around Wike, and he emerges. Today, he happens to support Ijaws to become the governor of River State. And at least to a larger extent, the young people have shown that love by letting him understand that, yes, we appreciate what you did for us. But coming to give the governor unnecessary disturbance by trying to distract him from giving the people of River State the dividends of democracy was the major concern. Now, the state of emergency. That was their number one calculation. Since the governor is no longer answerable to the FCT minister, they really wanted to see how, at all means, they will remove him. That, with their calculation, didn't happen. Now they said that the Supreme Court gave a judgment that the governor was operating a one-man show. But the assembly issues, there were court pronouncements that the assembly members that have decamped are no longer members of the House of Assembly, and that their seat has already been declared vacant. So the authentic group of House of Assembly was the Edison and Ye group of persons. And the governor...
So you said there was a court pronouncement?
Yes, there were court pronouncements. I believe court orders were made available.
And,
so
they appealed it?
Yes, they appealed it. Okay. So in that process, you can't say that somebody have violated democratic...
No, but there's a Supreme Court.
There's a Supreme Court judgment.
That is what we are saying. Before the Supreme Court, those issues were before the River State government, both the legislative and the executive. You know, you happens to be the governor. There is now a court pronouncement that these people's seat has been declared vacant. So for that singular reason, anything that you want to deal with as a governor, deal with XYZ, what will you do? As a governor, it is your responsibility to go towards that direction. That pronouncement was challenged, and today the Supreme Court has made a pronouncement that those dealings were not constitutional. Fine, but you don't have to say that the governor was operating a one-man show. I'm just trying to make point, because today the Nigerian judicial system is also giving us some form of worries. Because some judgments that are coming out, it looks as if people outside the judiciary wrote it for them, just for them to read. And we are getting worried as young people because we want our democracy to survive.
Well, I mean, Doctor, there are two key issues here. The legal component of the issue, yes, the political component of the issue. Exactly. And it looks to me like the suspended governor has his back to the wall. The courts are not, he's not getting what he wants from the court. We don't know what will happen at the Supreme Court on this constitutionality of the state of emergency. But then we saw former Governor Wike, FCT minister, yesterday on air saying a number of things that the state of emergency, as a matter of fact, was what the president used to save Fubara, because what he wanted, we don't know in what capacity he's saying it, was that he should be removed. These are clear indications that measure the enormity of the problem that, Fubara has. You, as Ijaws stakeholders, are you just going to basically complain or seek solution? If you are not succeeding legally, shouldn't you explore political solutions to what appears, insurmountable?
Yes, that is what we as people started when this issue began. We call on Mr. President as the leader of the nation and all political followers. We called on Mr. President to intervene on the FCT minister, because what is paramount to us is the survival of River State and how the Rivers people can benefit from the democratically elected governor, and how River State can be stable to contribute to the economic stability of the Nigerian state. By so doing, we called on Mr. President, look, this is not to the best interest of Rivers people and Nigeria at large. So call your political son, which is your appointee today, the FCT minister, to see how this issue in question can be resolved. 5 months into office, issues of impeachment has already been raised. And that is not to the best interest of Rivers people. Let us see how we can use a political means to resolve the matter. But it has now lingered to the suspension of the governor. What we are saying is that the man is now operating a one-man show. The National Assembly made it very clear that legislative oversight is going to be carried out by them. But today, the man is now making sole administrators of local government. Is it constitutional? He is now making appointment of RISEC members that by virtue of the Establishment Act of RISEC, any person that will be appointed into the RISEC must go through the House of Assembly for screening. But this man, without assembly, without even going through the House of Assembly, the National Assembly, which is now legislating the affairs of Rivers State, went unilaterally to appoint RISEC members and other boards that needs the screening or approval of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Since that is not available, they ought to go to the National Assembly for that screening.
Yes.
But this man is not doing that.
Now, well, the National Assembly has invited him now. So
exactly. And aside that, these are issues that, as in your capacity as a leader for IYC, for the youth, how do we translate all of these issues to constructive action? Because the complaints are enormous. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of unconstitutional actions that are happening at this time. But in your own capacity, knowing that, in as much as it is a group, but it's not a political party. The IYC is not a political party. You are a group of young people who are trying to make sure that the goals and ideals of the Ijaw nation are not trampled on. So how do you intend to translate these issues to constructive action?
Thank you very much. Number one, we have also called on our leaders, the stakeholders, to see how we need to sit and discuss and also approach. Because when Mr. President made the state of emergency declaration, he said that he's doing that just to see how he can mediate between the legislative arm and the executive arm of the Rivers State House of Assembly. As a people, we have always told the path of peace. And mind you, this state of emergency and so many other things were more or less like a test. They were trying to tempt the Ijaw people, which action they are going to take. And even the declaration has made us also go back to our creed that, look, this is not the best time where people will now be touching national assets. We have the mandate and we have the responsibility to always sensitize our people. And that is why, despite the fact that state of emergency was declared, our governors was removed or suspended. Nobody see any action because that was what they were expecting us to do. But we told them that that is not the best action. That is not the best line of action. And that is why you see that the entire Niger Delta, the Ijaw ethnic areas are relatively peaceful. Because we want to let them understand that these are political issues and has nothing to do with things that will disrupt the national economy. So we are taking a bold step by meeting with our stakeholders, our elders, and also see how we can set up a team to go and interface with Mr. President. Let him, as the leader of the nation, call both parties, set up the committee that he said he will set up to look into the matter, mediate it, and let there be peace, and let the governor and the legislative arm return so that the people of Rivers State can have the needed dividends of democracy.
I think it was the National Assembly that suggested the committee when they ratified. So you feel good with that?
Exactly. Okay. Anything that will bring the needed peace and stability in Rivers State, that is what we want as a people.
Yes, okay. I believe that the sole administration should be at the National Assembly soon, probably in the last week. It was supposed to happen, on Thursday, but it's been postponed. But hopefully soon you get the committee that, the Ijaw Youth Council are looking forward to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you.